Hey guys, Jared Kraus, and in this video I want to talk about my 3 biggest takeaways that I got from my podcast with Mr. Charlie Vallow from Outsourcing Angels on why buying an online business is better than starting a website from scratch. So for the best advice on how to go away and buy online businesses that are past that 90% failure rate that all startups face and already have a true track record that are making money every single month, go away and hit the subscribe button, also hit the bell notification so you can be updated when I upload new videos every single week. So in this video, I'm very happy to be talking about this podcast that I recorded with Charlie, and I'm very grateful for having Charlie on board because he's a man who's gone away and built up eBay business and sold that, and then started a marketing agency and built that up to 7 figures and sold that himself, and he's been moving on to bigger and better investments through his portfolio and his career of making money online. Now he has his own empire of online businesses. So guys, this is a very powerful podcast. If you want to go away and listen to the full edition, you can click the link in the descriptions below. But these are the 3 takeaways that I got that I want to share with you, which I feel are very, very valuable. So the number 1 takeaway from this podcast is to buy something that has stood the test of time. Now, what does that actually mean? Now, when you go away and start a website, you have a rocky road, and normally you have to put a whole lot of money into that website to start making some sort of money. And then it can dip down, it can dip back up, and you have a bit of a rocky road. And you have to go through a big time period to get it successful to even making money, and still 90% of people fail at doing that. However, what Charlie and I talked about was buying something that has already stood the test of time and has been through many different iterations of the business, where it's changed so many times and it's evolved so much through that time period to allow it to become successful. And what we're talking about is that website or that person that's selling that online business that has stood the test of time has different processes and different systems, different ways to market and sell their product or their service, and they've been through so many iterations of that business to allow it to get to the position where it's making money consistently month over month. And if you're going to start investing in websites, then that is certainly the most important thing to do, is to buy something that has stood the test of time and it has all those systems and processes that are very, very successful, so you can jump in and buy a business that is already running quite smoothly. The second thing that was quite a big takeaway is to change your focus. Now, to change your focus is a very important thing, and I always say to people, if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got, right? So for me, if I kept plumbing, I would still be plumbing, right? But I needed to make a change. And sometimes people go away and grunt and moan and complain about where their life is, but they don't have the ambition or the willpower to go away and make that change. Now, what Charlie's come from a very similar background to me, where he was also a plumber. And a very similar thing where he looked up to a certain guy and said, wow, I want to be that person, right? And that was a guy who was a plumber and had all these sorts of things that Charlie wanted when he was quite young. It's the same for me. I looked up to a guy that I wanted to be a Sparky and was following his steps, or I wanted to be, there was another guy that I saw that was a plumber and he was way cooler than this guy who was a Sparky, so I decided to go away and become a plumber because he had what I perceived was everything that I wanted in my life. Now, the crazy thing is that most people go away and emulate their mothers, their fathers, and copy the road from people they know in their circle of influence. Now, what I like to tell people is to change your focus and build your circle of influence to become far bigger, and look at people that have a life that you really, really want. And it doesn't have to be copied by somebody that's close to you. It can be an influencer, or it can be anybody who is a model or an idol and has what you want in that lifestyle. Because if you just focus on getting what you want from people that are close to you, you may end up getting to that lifestyle like I did and like Charlie did, and absolutely hating it. So changing your focus and focusing on what you really want is a really important skill to have when you want to become successful in anything in life. And the third and final thing is a question that I get often all the time. And I was on my way to an event and a seminar, an education program over the weekend. And on my way, and I was talking about, somebody was asking about my story, is somebody said to me, why would somebody sell an online business that's already successful and it's already making money? So that's a great question. It's a very, very regular question for me. And the way that I answer this is that say for example, you're buying a website. It's the same as buying a property investment, right? But what you're doing is you're buying digital property. Now, when somebody sells a physical property investment, like a house or a unit or whatever, the reason they're selling that is normally because they want to go away and grab that money, cash it in and invest it in something bigger. Or they want to go away and buy a house or downgrade, or they want to go away and invest that money into something else. That's normally the case, and I find that the same with most people who are selling good, solid website investments, is that they want to sell these businesses so they can either go away and cash out and spend money on a bigger investment, or cash out and spend that money on a different venture. Now, to be honest, yes, there are those websites out there for sale that are under the price range of like $10,000, where people try and build these things up and they're not working and they try to sell them. And that's why I find it very important to understand how to do good research and good due diligence to ensure you're not going away and buy a lemon or buy a dud or get scammed by somebody who is selling something that is not actually what they say it is. So most of the cases, and 80 to 90% of the time, I find people want to cash out on their websites because they want to reinvest that money into something else, or they've taken the business to a certain level that they don't know how to grow it, and they're very particular with who they want to sell that business to. Meaning they don't want to sell their baby to somebody who's not going to look after it and grow it and make sure it runs so much better and smoother than what they did as the previous owner. So yes, there are people out there or businesses out there that aren't great investments, like any investment, and we need to understand how to steer away from those and into these businesses where people generally want to sell them so they can reinvest their money and give their baby onto new owners. So that's a very important thing to understand, is because most people are in this mindset of like, why are people trying to take my money? But that's not the case, right? If you step into a different mindset, it's like, look at the ability for me to be able to go away and make money from this, knowing the true value of the business. So guys, I hope you got a lot from those takeaways. If you want to go away and listen to the full episode, which I highly suggest, because the more times you listen to it, or if you listen to it one day now and then a year in the future, there's so many takeaways that you can get for yourself that are going to be so valuable with where you're at in your journey to making money online. So go away and click below on the link in the description to check out the podcast. And if you want to check out more podcasts, you can go away and have a look at that, and there's a whole list of them there. So guys, hope you got a lot of value. If you have any questions at all, please comment please comment your question below in the comments, and I'll be happy to help you. Thanks guys.